Hi everyone, welcome back to the workshop. So today we are looking at the MN168 Range Rover Classic. Now I've genuinely not unboxed this. This is the first time I'm going to see it. So let's have a quick look at what you get in the box. So first of all, you get a nice transmitter, it's quite basic. First thing I notice is it's got a nice control lever on there so you can use it one-handed. There we go, it's quite cool, it's a bit futuristic with that, whatever that is on the front. Looks like a laser pointer or something from Star Trek, but Star Wars it could be as well. And here we have the actual model. So it's all nicely packed. So inside the box, all nicely packaged. Let's see what we've got in here. So you get a nice set of instructions. Lovely picture of a Range Rover Classic there. There's nothing bad about a Range Rover Classic. Absolutely stunning cars. I've driven them myself. I'm a Land Rover fan. And there we go. Shows you how to put some of the accessories on. I'm guessing you get them in the box. So we've got some, looks like vents, wipers and mirrors there. One of the key things with the Range Rover Classic was it used to have the wing mirrors actually on the wings, whereas nowadays they tend to be on the doors. You got a few Range Rover stickers there with looks like some light lenses in there and possibly the reflector, the mirrors for the wing mirrors, as we said about. You got your average USB charger. If anyone knows what that says, let me know. I don't speak, I'm guessing that's Chinese. It's not my native language. And also we get some cool camel trophy stickers there. Now that's giving me a bit of a clue as to what colour I might have gone. So I'm doing a big trumpet playing reveal here. Wow, look at that. That looks absolutely stunning. It's got a lovely sheen to it. Nice hard body. Got hard windows in the sides as well. You've even got a nice interior in there. Opening doors, that's a pretty cool feature. So if you can see inside there. Quite a highly detailed interior actually. Quite surprised at that. I wonder if the bonnet opens as well. And there you go. Bonnet opens to reveal a... So there we go, the bonnet opens to reveal a 7.4 volt 1500 milliamp LiPo battery. So that's handy. And very simple in the front there, just your electrical connector. So these wheels are also really iconic to the Range Rover Classic, and they actually took them on to the early discoveries, but they soon phased them out for alloy wheels. So have a quick look underneath. You've got, it looks like plastic chassis rails. You've got plastic links, obviously the axles are plastic drive shafts. I actually quite like the wheel and tyre combo. It's pretty smart. Not a bad tread pattern. I wonder what they perform like. So we've also got a standard micro servo. I can't imagine it's that brilliant, but I'm sure it does the job, and it's got a little servo saver on there as well. Looks like some nice shock absorbers. They don't feel too bad. There's literally no rebound on there, but what you've got to remember is a lot of these things are shipped without oil in them because of laws of putting things in planes and that. So whenever you buy one of these models, always make sure that you look in the shocks, because the chances are the shocks don't have oil and the diffs probably don't have any grease in them. So just having a quick look over that, I'm actually really impressed with that body. You can see where those little plastic vents go on the back there, on the C pillar. Back doesn't open, but that's not too bad. But yeah, overall, I'm quite impressed with that. It looks really nice. So Rob from DoURC contacted me and said, do you fancy doing a build off with these? And seeing as it's a Range Rover Classic, one of my favourites, so I couldn't say no. And also we've tagged along a guy called Mike from Staffordshire Scale Trail. And Mike's also into crawlers as well. And he's interested in getting into one of our build offs. I'll put links to both their YouTube channels in the description. Now the thing with the Range Rover Classic is it's iconic for a lot of off-roading, serious off-roading. And it was one of the first vehicles that was capable of being used as a daily for any class. I mean, the Queen had one. You don't get any more classy than that. So let's have a think about what we're going to do. And I've already got hold of a couple of upgrades that I think are going to help this for reliability. So one of the first things is a set of metal links. Plastic links are fine, but these will add a little bit of weight and they'll help with that stability. I've also got some upgraded shocks, which I think once we tune these are going to make it ride a lot better. I picked up a set of metal drive shafts. These are going to be better for durability. And lastly, picked up an Outrunner brushless system. Now this says it's 3S compatible, so that's going to be really interesting to see how this performs on that. So I've got a couple of ideas in mind. I've got no idea what Mike and Rob are going to do. If you've watched Rob and I build offs before, you can see that once we built almost exactly the same thing, great minds think alike, and then the following time we built completely opposite ends of the spectrum when we did the build off with the wrecker and with the farm truck. So I've got something in mind which is very iconic if you're into the Land Rover scene. Now, it hasn't been seen for a long time, and the company that built it were absolutely at the forefront of technology at the time. So this thing's got some really nice features, and I'll be honest with you, it's going to be a shame to modify it, but you know, it is a build off. So let's get to it. So there we are, just a quick whiz round the garden just to see how the suspension performs, etc. To be honest, there's not much point in taking it out because we're going to be ripping all the guts out and putting all those cool parts in it anyway. So I've got it up on the ramp. I've got an idea in mind. So let's get chopping. So we've got all these nice electronics inside. Got a receiver, speed controller, and a brushed motor. But obviously we're going to rip all of that out. So let's get that out. Okay, so I've made really good progress. I haven't shown you all the little nitty gritty bits because there'll be things that you've seen loads of times before. So one of the most significant things that I've done is for anybody that's into off-roading, you may have heard of Devon 4x4. And in the sort of late 90s, I would say, they made a significant impact on the 4x4 world when they did what's called Bobtailed a Range Rover Classic. Now, if you remember this before, this chassis had probably another 40 mil on the back of it. And what I've done is I've cut this down and I've bobtailed it. So bobtailing is basically eliminating any of the hangover at the back of the chassis. And what that allows me to do is a much better approach angle when I'm off-roading. So what I did a cut sort of along here. I did a matching cut on the roof because I wanted to keep this pillar all in one piece. And then I worked out how much I needed to chop out. I've basically chopped a section out of the roof, section out of the wings, and then I've just glued it all back together. I'll just untangle that. And then inside, you can see it's almost the same. I've just cut the interior down because I'm going to have a little bit that I need to play around with at the back here. And I've got the leftover interior that I'm just going to modify to fit back in so that I've got the inner wheel arches. So I've started to put this back together. I think it looks pretty cool. Now they had a yellow roof and a green body, and I thought maybe just do a little bit of a sort of a wash in with the colours, might look a little bit different. So we've still got all the opening body, opening doors, because I think these look brilliant. The interior is actually really, really good and nice high detail, so I've kept that. And I'll probably do a few little bits in there as well. So I've got it all back together. I just need to do a few more bits to the body. Another thing, I'll put a picture in of what theirs looks like. But basically, it was covered in stickers. So I've got that Spectrum radio gear that I've put in, worked much better than the original, plus I want to add a couple of extras, so I need the auxiliaries. We've got the brushless system in there. I've left the original servo in for now. We'll see how it goes. I don't see why it wouldn't be man enough for this, but obviously the electrics are going to be better than what it comes with. We got these metal links, which were an upgrade from the originals, but I still wasn't happy with them. They didn't provide any flex in the suspension whatsoever. So I thought I'll go the conventional route, I'll make up proper links, and as you'll see in a minute, I came up with a novel little way of attaching those to the original chassis. In order to fit the links to the chassis, the hole's quite big where the suspension goes, so I came up with this idea of like a little cotton reel. I printed it out of TPU, which is a flexible filament, and I've made it so that it's got 2.5mm hole through the middle, which is the same size as the ball joints. So I just had to push those into the holes in the chassis, and then I could put the screw through, put a washer behind just so I could tighten them up, and then it allowed me to adjust the suspension a little bit. But I think it was a great little idea, worked really well. I'll put that in the description as well, so if anybody wants to download those, that'll be available for you to try. So as you can see, we've got loads of travel and flex in the suspension system now, with those custom links put on there. Still got to adjust, make the shock absorbers fit, but I did make some custom top shock absorber mounts as well, and as you can see, there's loads of twist and flex in there. The trouble with these little models is you're often restricted by how much you can fit under the body shell, whatever you put on, and the size of like the suspension components that you use. So I couldn't put huge shock absorbers on it, so I was limited to, I think they were 51mm, which is a little bit longer than the stock ones, and obviously if you go too far you bottom your prop shafts out. So this is a little custom micro servo winch that I came up with a little while back. Really simple, just a cotton reel and a mount, and you'll be able to download that from Thingiverse, and if you want to fit one on your truck. So as it's a servo winch, all you need is just a spare spot on your receiver, which is one of the reasons why I swapped over to the different electrics, and then it will just run in and out working off of a third channel. Okay, so we've made quite a lot of progress, as you can see. Let's have a look at a few of the modifications that we've done so far. So hopefully you can see by the back that it's been bobtailed, and this basically means we've cut all of that overhang off, or a lot of the overhang off, so we've got a much better approach angle to our obstacles. I think you'll agree that that's going to help us. You might see these wheels. So what I've done, I've kept the original tyres because I wanted to try and keep as many original parts as I could. Another thing that I found though was because of the size of the portals on this, it's very difficult to get wheels to fit. So I've managed to find a file to download and 3D print, and these are the original style Vogue alloys that you would have found on the classics at the time. Now we've got loads of stickers that I've put on there. I bought a huge sticker sheet from eBay, and I thought the stickers would look really cool and in keeping with the sort of off-roady trial-y type look. I picked the Red Bull ones, the majority of them are those, but we've got lots of stickers throughout. We've got the bulls on there, we've got different sponsors. They had them all up the back windows, so you know, everywhere I could fit some stickers, and of course the all important Crawl Stock RC stickers there, and I even put some on the roof just to break up that yellow a little bit. I've kept the original opening bonnet. I thought that looked fantastic, and the original battery still squeezes in there nicely. It's a 7.4 volt 1500 milliamp hour, so that should give us loads of power with that brushless drive system that we put in there. I loved these opening doors. I think that's a really good feature, and I'm going to look for somebody to put inside it because it definitely needs a driver and maybe a co-pilot. And then underneath on all of the suspension joints, we've put those cotton reels that we made in there. It's definitely given it a lot more movement in the suspension. I've also upgraded with a set of shock absorbers that I had. They're not particularly good ones, but I think for this build they'll be fine. We've got the metal drive shafts, which is definitely going to make it a lot more durable. I made up a set of links as well, so we've got all custom links with proper ball joints on them, which will give us that Excellent suspension travel again. I took all the drivetrain apart and greased everything because it had a little bit in there, but not very much. Of course, I had to replace all the electrics inside because I wanted to run a few different things as well. We do have some rear lights in there. You can just about make them out. And of course, we've got retained those headlights. I designed and 3D printed a bumper to go on there as well. And you're probably thinking, why has it got a tail at the front? Well, I've even managed to put in one of my custom winches. So we've got a fully working servo winch mounted up inside there, which was another reason why I wanted to swap the radio over. And I've just gone to my usual trusty DX5 Rugged from Spectrum. Absolutely fantastic radio. I kept the original steering servo. I know it's not particularly strong, but it should be adequate for this model. So we'll see how it goes. We have improved the turning circle a little bit on it as well. And it's got a decent amount of punch to it, but not a huge amount of speed. But I hope you agree. I think it looks really, really cool. And I certainly think it's a one-off. I don't know of anybody that's done this before. And I look forward to seeing what the other guys have built. So Rob and Mike, they had the same model to start with. Be interesting to see what route they've gone down, whether they've gone a trail route, sort of a trial route. I've obviously gone for the heavy off-road route. I've still got a few more bits that I want to do to it yet, and I've got some of the original accessories from the kit that I need to put in there. Definitely need to get hold of those drivers as well. Got a couple of other little tweaks I want to do to it. So hope you've enjoyed the upgrade so far. So let's get on with the rest of them. So we're at my local venue down by the lake. So I thought I'd bring the MN168 down. Now we've done all the modifications to it, see what we can do with it, see what it's capable of, and get some cool shots with it. And hopefully we can defeat the other two in this build off. So before we go too far, just in case anything happens to it, let's go over the mods that we've done. So we did that incredible bobtail on the back, which I was really pleased with. That came out really well. It's holding together really well, so I'm happy about that. Obviously we had to modify a few bits underneath to get that to suit. We've done these incredible wheels that I managed to find on one of the internet sites for the 3D printing, and they're very in keeping with the original sort of Range Rover classic style. Up the front here, I designed and made this custom bumper, and that also features our winch hawse, so we'll give the winch a test in a little while. Underneath chassis mods, so we did that little mod on the suspension to make that have a lot more flex in it. Didn't like the original style of links, so I've changed those. The metal drive shafts, we've got a brushless system in there. It doesn't seem to have a lot of low end grunt. I don't know if that's to do with the battery power. Maybe a better battery would do it some justice, but it doesn't seem to have very much low down grunt at all, which is a bit of a shame. Did put a set of shocks on it that I had at home, oil-filled shocks. Don't think they were any particular brand. Probably, if anything, they would be Mias or something. But they seem to be working quite well. It's giving it some nice flex. So it had a little bit of flex or travel before, but it just seemed to be all up and down. It didn't really have any side to side. So we've really got quite a bit of side to side travel in our suspension now. Just added a little driver that I managed to find at a car boot sale. He's a little bit small, but I think he looks okay in there. Let me know what you think. And then yeah, we just went mad with the stickers really. Bought a big pack of stickers off of eBay. A couple of them are not sticking brilliantly. It's a bit dusty, but you know, that's what happens in racing, isn't it? So let's move on with the trails and let's do some more video. Okay, so we've been trailing it for about 20 minutes, had some nice fun in the water there. Unfortunately the motor seems to have given up. I'm going to take it home and just see if it's got any water in it. It doesn't look wet, it's still turning, but it's just really not happy. So, oh, well, how weird is that? That's really bizarre. It's like I give it full throttle and then it thinks about going. Something definitely not right there. So I think we'll head home, we'll have a look, see if we can find out what the problem is, and then we'll come back out another day. Okay, so I lied a bit. I didn't want to go home, I wanted to see if I could figure it out. So I've left it for 5 minutes. It's not hot, it's not wet. It's obviously got water on it, but the motor's not wet. So what I actually did was, because I've changed over to this transmitter, I've never set the parameters from like neutral to whatever the endpoints are. So I've just adjusted the endpoints to 150% on a transmitter, and it seems a lot happier. So I'm going to carry on playing.
If it dies, it dies.
So that's it, guys. Sadly we have had a breakage. The links, the mounts on the back axle have given up. I'm not surprised, it's only a plastic axle, and obviously I've done a few mods to it. I put a little bit of weight in the wheels, which has obviously not helped. Obviously it helped it crawl, but it's not helped with the survivability of it. I didn't have high expectations, if I'm honest, because when I was working on it, the plastic of the axles was that really nasty brittle stuff. So I'd definitely do a metal axle upgrade if you're going to use one of these. I hope you agree, the body looks incredible. I'm really pleased with all the mods that I've done to it. That bobtail, the paint job, the front bumper, the winch. The winch is quite unique. That is going to be available in the description. You'll be able to download that from Thingiverse. And yeah, overall, I'm really pleased with how it looks. Shame about the performance, but we had those couple of niggles. I'm sure I can iron those out, and maybe we can get a bit of time to get it back out and do a bit more trailing with it. But I'm really pleased with the video that I took. I managed to get a bit of water, which I know you like water and mud, and I know Rob's going to love that too. I'm interested to see what Mike and Rob have done and see if they can compete with me, obviously on the mods and with the visuals. So I look forward to seeing what they've done. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you also learnt something and you maybe do some of these mods on yours. If you've got any questions specifically about, like the bobtail or anything, then give me a shout. I look forward to hearing from you. And thanks very much. I'll catch you in the next one.